Well, hello there, and this is Auntie, and I am here to do my review recap rant of Married at First Sight, Season 18, Episode 6. Never forget about Karla. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And to all of my new subscribers, thank you all so much for hitting that subscribe button and joining this family. To all of my nieces, nephews, and my members who have been here with me for the long haul, thank you all so much for your continued support. If I had to rate this episode of Married at First Sight, season 18, episode 6, I will rate this episode a hmm, 2 star. Let me know down in the comment section where you will rate this episode of Married at First Sight. Okay, so I'm going to bring these couples up. I'm going to talk about each one of the couples and my assessment of them. And then we're going to kind of combine some scenes and stuff as we saw, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the after show, and all of that stuff is just going to be mixed in, right? Here at Auntie's Advice, when I do my reviews of these particular shows, I do not go in order. I talk about each couple and then I give a little insight, if you will, about that particular couple. So, without further ado, we're going to get into it. Shall we? Oh, yes, we shall. So, the first couple that I want to talk about, oh my goodness, who is Madison and Allen. So, of course, we all know that Madison is not really feeling Allen at all. And the two of them, while they're not struggling the same way that David and Michelle are, they are struggling nonetheless. He talks too much for her. Um, and his way of dressing is not something that she finds herself attracted to. And so, the two of them are trying to, do something in this relationship. But Alan is fully aware that, Madison is not feeling him. I can't think of anything significant that they did in this particular episode that I really want to talk about. So we're going to move on to another couple. Shall we? Oh, yes, we shall. So the next couple that I want to talk about is Juan and Carla. So, of course, David has been sleeping outside. He has been sleeping in the lobby. He has been telling all the guys and the girls or whoever will listen about his relationship with Michelle. And so Juan, of course, has been very open to this. And I'm saying this because we're going to talk about something that happened in the episode a little later. Shout out to my brother and his girlfriend who are watching. Don't say your names down in the chat. Shout out to y'all. They see you got us looking at this, okay? And my brother also brought correction and said that there was indeed a young lady who was living at home. So, okay, I stand corrected. Okay. And I can't remember who he said it was or who we agreed that it was, but I was like, okay. So anyway, shout out to them as he's watching his big sis out here on the YT with his girlfriend. So anyway, okay, let me get back. So, and don't say nothing in the comments section either. Okay. But anyway, so, um, he meets up with Carla. The two of them, have been having an okay relationship, right? They've been kind of talking about things. Juan has let us know that, basically he is a broke entrepreneur trying to start off a tech business and everything. She's going to be going on vacations. He's already indicated that he's not going to be able to do go on those trips and stuff with her. So the two of them, we see them kind of dancing by the water and all of that, and they sit down and they, start to have a conversation with one another. And so Carla, because of all of this that's going on with Michelle, has felt like, she's been kind of analyzing or listening to the other couples. And it's just, not, it's been a, kind of dark for her. And so she has been, trying to unwind and get herself back together, right, and mind her own damn business. In the meantime, and in between time, Juan ended up going out with David and had a great time with David. So, the two of them are talking and stuff like that. And, Juan had came out of his trick bag and said that, he had such a great time with David that he had forgotten about Carla. And so Carla was sitting there like, wait a minute, what the fuck is he talking about? What are you talking about? And I think that, Juan is so caught up in himself that he didn't even pick up, right, that her verbal cues, that this was something that she just wasn't feeling, him saying and everything, right? So anyway, he eventually figured it out when the two of them went out on an outing with one another, that she was upset about it. And so, Carla was like, wait a minute, what do you mean? He tried to, clear it up and say, I didn't mean it, basically the way I said it, but he still kind of just, blew off the situation and the seriousness of what he had said. And so, the two of them, end up going. One loses his clothes and everything, well, needs some clothes. And those clothes was, Carla did not provide the bag for him for his clothes. So he ended up putting them in a plastic bag. In the after show, he indicated that he had went and had, something to eat, and he had left his bag, right? Because he said he had went up to the front desk to try to get a bag. And then when he tried to get a bag, they were like, we don't have any. But someone from the cleaning crew had given him a trash bag. And so while he was sitting there eating, when he got up and went on about his way, he had accidentally, not inadvertently, but he had accidentally left the bag there. And so when he left the bag there, of course, the cleaning people took and picked it up, right? And it was like it's in a trash bag. And, basically threw the shit away. And so he said that, when he realized that he had lost it, Carla came to assist him in finding it. And he said basically it took all day for them to retrieve those damn clothing and everything. And so Carla was like, okay, one thing you're going to learn is that you're not going to forget about Carla. She said, you're going to, you're gonna find out today, okay? You're gonna learn today that you don't forget about Carla. So instead of Carla articulating her concerns and how she felt about it, right, really expressing and saying, when you said that, that was like, real fucked up that you would say something like that. She started doing little spiteful stuff. And, Juan had talked to her about it later on because the two of them went to a photo shoot. And in that photo shoot, they were taking pictures in the water, and they had to be interactive, and they wanted like really creative photos with them and stuff. And so, she was really wrestling with it. And then at this point, he could really tell that, okay, there's something wrong with Carla, but I can't really pinpoint what the fuck it is, right? Because I was talking out of my ass at the table. And so, after, they got in the water and everything, and he understood, they ended up having a conversation later on about it, because when they were in the water and they was trying to do this particular scene where he was laying on a dock and she was going underwater kind of looking like he was saving her and everything, she just could not manage to do that trust fall, right? She couldn't fall back in the water and breathe and do all of that kind of stuff. And so she was telling him, she was like, I'm done, like I'm over this. And so the cameraman heard her when she said it, and he was like, oh, okay, you all can switch positions. And she was like, let me give it one more time, one more chance. And so eventually she came out of that funk. But later on, we saw that the two of them had a conversation about it. And she was saying, I was doing all of that kind of stuff because, you said that you had forgot about me. And I was feeling some kind of way about it. And he was like, but, what you needed to do was just communicate that to me and tell me, hey, what you said to me hurt my feelings. He said, but instead you start doing a little spiteful, okay, which was passive aggressive. And I must agree that is very passive aggressive. Just say what it is that's on your mind, so I can fix it or not fix it, right? Maybe it's something that I meant to say and I wanted to say to you, but you would never know unless you asked me. And then the thing about it is, she was thinking about it negatively anyway, right? And I guess maybe she was thinking, this is something how he really feels, that I'm just a nothing in his life. He wasn't saying that. He was kind of really, I guess kind of saying the same thing that she was saying. She was saying, I had to unwind and I had to do this and that. And for him, unwinding was just hanging out with David and having a great time, right? And so it wasn't that he was, forgetting the experiment or anything. In the after show, they ended up talking to him, because he had started disclosing, like how he gets up in the morning, he's got to work out twice a day. He goes into his full-time job and then he's got his part-time job and all of that kind of stuff. And basically his day ends at 9 o'clock. While Karla said that when she gets home from work, she needs her downtime. She needs 30 minutes to unwind, and she doesn't want to talk. And so he was like, okay, so what if I come in the house and you don't talk to me? I'm gonna feel like you got an attitude, whatever. Well, bitch, she just already told you that this is part of her routine, right? And so he, if I can see if she was just coming in every day from work, shutting down for 30 minutes and not saying anything, but she's already giving you what her habits are, what her routine is for right now of how she unwinds. And she said the reason why she's like this is because the work that she does, she talks all day. And I can imagine that, right? If you're meeting and talking all day, then damn right. I'm right, so bitch, she told you. She told you what it was. Hey, Kevin Boo, I love you and I miss you. And I did that damn review for your ass. That's my boo, Kevin, y'all. That is my boo. So anyway, he basically, he doesn't have time for her. And so, Keisha Knight Pullen asked him, so how do you have time for a wife? Why would you go into this experiment not knowing that you get up in the crack of dawn? And it's the same thing with him and David. David is working two jobs, and so is Juan is a broke mother, okay, point blank and period. When you are trying to start a tech company and all of that kind of stuff, he doesn't have money. And not only does he not have money, there's no way he's going to be able to make it up with his time, because with her coming home from work, you know what I'm saying, and him getting home at the, at 9 o'clock, what time are they going to have for this relationship? Moreover, he's already told her, I'm so broke and I've got to pay this staff of people that I am not even going to be able to vacation with you. So, like, he wasn't, I don't believe that neither Juan nor David were ready for this experiment, right? They weren't ready to be married to each other. And, it takes me back again to the producers or the quote unquote experts in how they do their work. Like, do they not consider all of this stuff and say that this specific person is not a good match for anybody, bitch? Like, who's doing the work? It seems like year after year, we're the ones as the content creators who have to come in and fix this that they've broken, right? Break it down and give you all an analysis of what the fuck is really going on. Like, this is crazy to me in my head that most of these couples even got picked for this because they wasn't ready for this goddamn experiment. It's just simple as that. Like, it's no way of getting around it, bitch. I'm not gonna sit out here and pretend like it's anything other than that. Talking about pretending, like Itchy Kitty Ya 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 is playing with it, playing on MM's tower. This man doesn't like her. He came on this show, in my opinion, to sell a book and to sell himself. And I'm gonna tell you why I believe that, right? Let's just take out everything that he has been doing. Itchy kitty ya ya ya. Let's take out that. His mom and them downtown to the interviews. Right after they get married, they have before they go on the honeymoon, they have an opportunity to talk with the family. The family is the one that brought up the fact that he has this um 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 big following on social media. He has a big social media following, and how is she going to handle that? So not only is social media and whatever it is he's selling, bitch, on social media important to him, it's important to his family. And this is where they have placed his identity. And in my opinion, it's the reason why he left Houston to move to Chicago temporarily, bitch. Okay. Leave those children that he alleges that he was mentoring, move to Chicago, right? Off of somebody giving him a suggestion and getting on the show. I think that he has motives. When he talks to he talks to in my opinion, bitch. He talks to her as if he's interviewing for a job. He asks her strategic questions, right? These questions are strategic and they are methodical. For her to, he wants to ask her that so that he can now express and say what he wants because is being very passive. Why is being passive, I don't know. I don't know if she's peeping him out or what it is that but she's being extremely passive and coming off a bit naive and desperate to me. That's my damn opinion about it. I'm trying to tell you right now. I think that has already figured out that he is a phony. If you notice that the other couples are going out and doing activities, they're doing things, they're experiencing things together, even the ones we don't fucking like, or at least trying to experience things. The two of them, all they doing is going back and forth to restaurants. Bitch, you could do that when you in Chicago, especially for Itchy Kitchy Ya 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 Ya, as he hasn't been living in there long enough. He got there, probably in the nick of time to, get a little job at the school and interview for the fucking show. But why would you be on vacation when everybody else is doing something and this bitch is doing nothing but taking me back and forth to restaurants? And then when he lays in the bed with me and I want to be romantic with him, when I hug him, want to be embraced by him, he turns his ass to me. He give me his ass to kiss. So they were having some honey pot, right? Some honey, and they called it a honey pot. And I don't know if this is supposed to sexually arouse you or whatever it's supposed to do, right? But for him, it shut him down, and he turns his back to her and says, and he now all of a sudden he wants to quote all these scriptures. Bitch, I ain't got it to do. He is absolutely. Hey, Marcus, he is absolutely not into her. He is on key, in my opinion, with ulterior motives. And I believe that those motives are to blow up his social media account and to sell a book. A book that means nothing because you can't practice what it is that you wrote to your wife. There is a content creator on YouTube that has a podcast called, I think it's Dear Wifey or something like that, who was on the after show. I was like, for the fuck what? I don't know why they put these content creators on here, but I mean, they do, right? And so he was on there and kind of giving advice and stuff. I didn't write none of it down because it's the same thing that you can hear, on a variety of content creators who cover married at first sight and dating and relationships and stuff like that, right? So, but congratulations to him for being on there. But I just was like, this guy has a motive. So he asked her, what makes her happy or what brings her joy. And so, she started talking about it. And so, of course, in kind, she asked him, what brings me joy is being with my family. And, I want to have kids and all of this. And I was in a relationship with someone and I broke it off. So, bitch, just start off saying what it is that you want us to know about you and what you want to add to your social media account. He doesn't ask her questions to really get to know her. He asks her questions for us to get to know him. And it's fucked up because she was like, I'm glad that I'm doing this experiment with you. And so, she's trying to believe in him. This motherfucker sat there, right? And asked her, am I going to be responsible for walking your dog? She says, no, you're not. I don't, I have no expectation of you getting up and walking my dog. When all the couples get together, because this is time for them to go back home, they've had the honeymoon, they all ready to go back to real life. He sits there and says, in the conversation, because he don't have else going on because they ain't doing nothing but eating. He sits there and says, I'm going to have to go back and have a responsibility of walking somebody else's dog. Bitch, she sat there and told you that wasn't going to be your responsibility. Emem is sitting back in the cut. She is almost on having an out-of-body experience of watching him. Emem has already gauged who and what he is. She ain't told us yet, but we gonna find out. We gonna find out. And the thing about it is, he's going to expose himself. The very thing that he did this for may just very well backfire on him. I don't know. I haven't looked him up on social media anyway because I don't give a rat's ass about him. But he absolutely strategically, methodically asks her questions. He don't give a damn about MM. He asked MM, would she be willing to have a baby? She was kind of playing with him and was like, no, type of thing. But she said, she will, entertain the thought of having children with him. But MM, in my opinion, has already assessed that he is not a qualified candidate. He don't even like her. What man turns his back to a woman and cries out to his mother? She said, just tell your mother I'm hugging my husband. If he is such a Christian man, then he knows that the Bible says a man leaves and cleaves. He ain't cleaved on to MM yet. The fuck? He's a fake and a phony. And when he got back to the apartment and he was having his pants on that thing, I was just like, MM knows she's in trouble. Like this, it's just so sad because she is totally into this experience. Like y'all, for real, she's one of the people who has brought this. The next couple that I want to talk about is David and Michelle. Michelle is still being a bitch. And Michelle sits there and is trying to do damage control. When she was on the after party, she was doing damage control. She said that she has to realize that she has to get into this thing and she can't be hard on herself. Well, she hasn't been hard on herself yet. She's been hard on David. But David, of course, I'm sure by the push in the pool, is, trying to work this relationship out and trying to, you know, be patient with her. One of the guys, the guy that was a content creator, I think it's Dear Wifey or something, Dear Future Wifey. I think that's what it is. His YouTube channel. So go and take a look at him. He indicated that David is trying to provide a safe space for Michelle. So Michelle goes out, the two of them go, paddle boarding or whatever you call it, and they're having fun, in the water and everything. David really wants this to work because his dream has always been to have a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman. And I'm asking him, right? How is that working out for you? Not to say that he cannot have a decent blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman. But when you're looking at a woman for her aesthetic for the outside and not concerned about the inside of a woman, this is what you fucking get. Now, of course, he did not pick her, but they picked her based on kidneys and they picked him based on hers. But of course, since he is saying that he is living in this apartment independent of his parents in their house, it's a turn off for her. And so she's saying, I just need to be more light with myself. So the two of them, go out paddleboard and they have a great time. And then we see them making sushi together. He doesn't like raw sushi. He needs the meat in his sushi to be cooked. And she is, I guess, an expert in creating and making sushi. And so the two of them have a great time and they sit down and have a conversation. And she tells him, basically, you curse too much. He said, well, I can bring it in. I can kind of pull it in. She finally opens up about her family and says that, her grandmother lived in the house beside them when the grandmother passed away. The father moved in. And it seems like, she was trying to allude to the fact that they had a close family relationship and stuff like that. But she says that she never wants to go back to where she lived before, right? She said, I guess it was a very rural area that, she was living in. And so, the shock of him living in an apartment for her, she said, took her back to that traumatic time. But while she sat there and talked to David about it, she didn't tell David about any trauma. And if she did tell David about trauma, it got cut on the editor's floor because, bitch, I never heard. Right? We speculated, we assumed, right? But we know what assuming do. And so we need her to be very clear. She has been very evasive, right? And she, is basically not telling us about her life. But it is obvious from the way that Michelle treats people that, she's had some family trauma past what she has disclosed to us. When the two of them get back, she tells him, I don't have any sexual attraction to you. And I need us to stay in separate rooms, bitch. We're not going to be able to stay in separate rooms. When she sees the clips of herself and how she talks to him, she has the audacity to say that I did not think that he was uncomfortable or nervous or afraid of me. Bitch, he had no other choice because it seems like you're one of those women, in my opinion. It seems like you're one of those women that if he had ever slept in the bed with you or made a pass at you, the popo would have been called. She just appears to be one of those women. I'm not saying she is, bitch, but she's sure strong and strong as hell is coming off that way. She is trying to act as if she wants this relationship with David, but she doesn't. So she automatically bans him, right, from her bed and from her room. But I'm going to tell you right now, I think that David has gotten to the point where he doesn't want Michelle. They are going along with the get along. I think that, when they decide that they're not going to do this experiment, that they have to pay back $50,000. Now, that was a rumor before. I don't know how true that is. But I guess they saying, bitch, we're going to stay right until the $50,000 cutoff. And then we getting the fuck up out of here. Then we getting the fuck up out of here. It's almost sickening to watch the way that she treats him and the way that she talks to him. And there is no level of damage control that she's going to be able to do, in my opinion, at this point. She has shown the bitch that she is. It looks like in the previews that she's telling him, go ahead on and talk to my friend or whatever. But it is what it is. I want to go back to Allen and what you call him when Allen got back and they got to the house, right? Do y'all know she went to happy hour with her girlfriends and left this bitch in the house? After she already sat up there and told him he had lost a friend. Okay. He found out when he got back. I knew it was something about them that I had forgotten, so I do want to come back. When Alan was, going, coming back from the honeymoon and all that kind of stuff, he found out that he had lost a friend. He said that this particular friend was at his wedding. And so this friend has passed away. Madison gave him empathy, bitch, for probably an hour. Next thing you know, we see Allen. We see her having a conversation with Allen and telling Allen, she needs him to work out. She needs him to look like he's athletic. She needs him to get his ass up and go to the gym. And she frankly doesn't like the way that he dressed either. She said, I don't want to come off as being negative or anything like that or ragging on your style, especially since, I haven't seen it all, but I don't like how you dress. I don't like how you present yourself. I think your clothes are ugly and you need to upgrade. But then instilling, yeah, the first night in the apartment where he thinks that he is going to be with her, she's out with her friends at happy hour, bitch. You can't make that up. Between her and Michelle, they mean girls. They are fucking mean girls. Last but not least, Camille and Thomas. On a previous episode, Camille said that she wanted Thomas to smack her on her ass. She said, I wouldn't mind if Thomas smacked me on my ass when we're walking or I walk past him. I'm going to dangle the fact that I have lingerie. I'm going to allow you to see a piece, but I ain't going to let you see a piece. So then why the fuck are we talking about the lingerie? I'm sorry, why are we here? Camille thinks higher of herself than she ought to. They go out. He's trying to do things to prove to her that he can woo her and romance her. So he takes her salsa dancing. Neither one of them are salsa dancers. They don't know about it. But he decides that he wants to do something to show her he can take the lead. He takes the lead. They go to the salsa thing. They meet the instructor. She's teaching them how to cha-cha, do salsa. And she's criticizing him because he unfortunately don't have that great a rhythm. But bitch, neither did she. See, Camille sees Thomas, but Camille don't see Camille, but we see Camille. She's talking about my husband's dancing is unique or special. Well, bitch, so is yours. Because you don't want to follow. Where you are dancing salsa and doing certain things, you have to follow. You have to be led. And when you are dancing with somebody up against a brick wall that still wants to be in control, yet wants you to be in control, wants you to smack them on their ass, but yet and still you ain't black enough. Thomas has already disclosed to her that he was adopted. And he found out that he was adopted on a Facebook post, bitch. In school, he wasn't accepted by people because he was neither black enough nor white enough. He's already disclosed to you that I had to struggle, both my brother and I, with our identities. Thomas then comes out and he's talking. We see Camille leave out the room. Thomas is talking, and he says basically she pulled his black card and said he wasn't R&B enough. R&B, rhythm and blues. Bitch, are you serious? So she goes and pulls his black card. Maybe she says that he's the kind of man that I need, but I'm just getting it in another package. And I'm saying, so when you gonna voluntarily turn your black card back in? Because we ain't seen you be the quintessential black girl. We didn't see you when doing salsa have any rhythm and blues. And you don't see yourself. You talking about he don't got swag. But how did swag help you in the past? How did getting smacked on the ass help you in the past? How did that black R&B love help you in the past, Camille? Now that you're on here dating and marrying someone sight mother unseen, how did all that rhythm and blues help you before? You need somebody to rough and tough you around, to walk around and disrespect you and just smack you on your ass? I'll wait. And I'll wait to see your black girl magic. Cause I ain't seen it yet. And ain't nobody revoked yours. So if you want to pull his back, then you need to make it a 2-for-1, bitch. When you pull his black card, you need to put yours in the envelope and send it back to Africa. Because ain't nobody seen no blackness in your ass either. But ain't nobody really wanting to go there because here's the thing, black girls, there's certain things that we kind of do before we go to bed. And I'm gonna tell you what I haven't seen you do is you ain't even worn a scarf to bed. Where's your black scarf? Where's your black girl go to bed madness? Matter of fact, we watched you when you woke up in the morning and you were putting something on your face. I don't know if it was an astringent or what it is, but like we've been down and I haven't seen you with a Vaseline jar yet, making sure that you deal with that ashiness that comes with getting up in the morning and showering as a black girl. So see, when we get to pulling black cards, and you want to do stereotypical black people R&B, then we have to unfortunately have these conversations because evidently you are the one who can revoke black cards, but yet maybe a few of us want to revoke yours and remind you we ain't seen no Vaseline in your suitcase. I ain't seen you with a bonnet, a nice scarf, a wrap. I ain't, we ain't seen you with none of that. I haven't seen your black girl madness or your black girl magic. But you have the audacity to want to pull Thomas and tell him he's not black enough and he doesn't have swag when I haven't seen your black girl magic yet. But see, ain't nobody judged you on that because we don't all fit into stereotypes. And so when you R&B and you make rhythm and blues all about just black people. Where's your neo soul? See, I don't want to go there, but I think you kind of forced us to have to question when the fuck are you going to turn your black card in? Since you want to pull black cards, I don't see your Palmer's cocoa butter. I did you have that in there with your lingerie that may or fucking may not come out because you want thug love? But evidently, thug love didn't work for you because you're married at first sight, bitch. Black people come in all shapes, sizes, colors. We never made black about an issue about y'all. But then you sit there in that black man's face and make it an issue when he said that he grew up and he was adopted. He struggled with his identity, but then he had to realize that he is who he is and he don't have to pick a side. I have nieces and nephews with blue and green eyes, and they are what they would call high yellow. If you lined us up together, you would probably never think that we were kin, but that is the beauty of being an African American or a black person or a person of color. We come in all shades and different hues of browns and tans and caramels and dark chocolate and milk chocolate. The audacity of you to do that, knowing that we come that way. I have other nieces and nephews who are of American and Jamaican descent who are very dark skinned. We are we have a plethora of shades, differences in our families. And it is offensive to me and other black people for you to judge this man and say that he ain't swaggy enough. He's not black enough, and you gotta pull a card. And then you get on the after show and now you want to apologize. And you want to judge somebody's level of blackness, the audacity, the nerve, the gall for you to be in a community and have those stereotypes. But we know that we have that issue in our community with colorism. And we've never addressed that here on Auntie's advice, colorism and stuff like that. I will never forget the lady who used to do my nails was extremely dark skinned and was married to a man who was very light skinned, and how his mother back in the days when they were dating rejected her because of her dark skin and told him that she would disown him if he brought that black girl home because she was darker than a paper bag. And you think that it was all right for you in 2024 to judge his blackness based on swag? So if he's not tagging you on your ass, just say, I wish, instead of saying, I wish he would, tell him, I'm going to bend over because I want you to tag me on my ass. Tell him what it is that you need from him. But don't try to change him into what people have stereotyped us to be. And now you sitting there with egg on your face because you see how ignorant it was. And you see how it affected him and his self esteem, something he struggled with for years. But like I said, let's do a buy one, get one free. Let's do a little BOGO. He turned his in, you turn in yours. Because by the same measure that you judge him, you can be judged. The audacity. See, you were the one that sat there last week and said, I want to control right now, but I want you to control later. He don't know which way to go. He doesn't know who you are. And I don't think you do either. Just tell him, I am used to dating men who are ghetto. But ghetto don't have no color either. I was very offended. Just like I'm sure that you would be offended by what I'm saying. Very offended that you would judge somebody based on the color of their skin. There's so much more I could say, and so much more I want to say. But Camille, we ain't got it to do. Check yourself. I mean, I'm looking at the differences in our culture. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? And see, she will be offended if those analogies that I used earlier, somebody said it to her. Camille, you just don't. I mean, excuse me, sis, but do you use Vaseline? Do you, I mean, do you get ashy? She would be offended. Because does that make you black enough? Bitch, I'm trying to tell you. I was like, so, Auntie, how you gonna come? I'm gonna come with the truth. I'm gonna break it down as simple as possible. People get sick of being stereotyped. Ain't nothing wrong with Thomas. It's you. You want a roughneck. You probably want it rough. And you think if he's rough, then he is strong. You probably have never had a man who has a gentle strength. because I see Thomas going above and beyond to show you and to make you comfortable, to do little small things to show you that he cares, that he's interested, wanting to do salsa with you to impress you, but yet you cut him down because he doesn't have quite a salsa type of rhythm, not knowing that there are many brothers who can't dance and don't have rhythm. Don't let the stereotypes fool you. There are black people who ain't got no no rhythm. Okay, was that black enough? Don't know. But there are black folk who ain't got no damn rhythm. So I don't know how many parties you've been to or or folk, but you know, some people just ain't got no rhythm. And they can be blackety black. All black people don't come with rhythm. And again, that's another stereotype. So what you need to do is sit your ass down while we go hit on to make change out of you, because you missed the mark, sis. You missed the mark. So turn your in before he turns his in. Okay. Anyway, that is the end of my review. Y'all let me know downtown in the comment section how y'all feel about all of these couples. Because this right here is a mess. We thought last season was a mess. This is a mess. Because these people don't have the ability to see themselves. All these women, with the exception of Emem, are the worst women they've ever picked. I ain't saying the men are all of that great, but they not as bad as other seasons. At least we got some of them that really want this. Now, it looks like David's apartment is a piece of and it looked like a basement, bitch, that his mother and them let him have a room with a closet hanging on a shower curtain. But we're going to see. We're going to see. We're going to let the brother live. But these people, in my opinion, none of them were ready for marriage. Because it looked like Karla gonna quit her job. She gonna quit her MFing job. When her man then already told her he ain't got no goddamn money. Bitch, he probably gonna be barely buying groceries up in that mother. Me either, Sonia P. Hey, Sugar 48, you see you think next week going to be interesting? Absolutely it is. And we're going to be sitting right here watching. I love you all. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. Thank you so much for being here, Ray Della. Thank you so much for moderating the chat. And y'all, until we meet again, y'all be safe out there in those streets and in the water. Bye, y'all.